Very good afternoon to all of you. Welcome to Learning Radius. Welcome to Learning Radius Current Affairs related to international issues 2020-21. In today's video, we'll be discussing another 10 topics, and the 10 topics are United Nations Security Council and India, Hope Consortium's World Immunization and Logistics Summit, India-Bangladesh signed 5 MOU, announced new train connecting Dhaka to New Jalpaiguri, Indo-Korea discussion, Cabinet approves opening of 3 Indian missions in Estonia, Paraguay and Dominican Republic, India-Japan back in another Sri Lanka port project, Prime Minister inaugurates Maritime India Submit 2021 virtually, IFSA becomes member of IOSCO, India-Japan Memorandum of Cooperation on Specified Skilled Workers, and India abstains in UN Human Rights Council vote on Sri Lanka. So these are the 10 topics what we are going to discuss. India abstains in UN Human Rights Council vote on Sri Lanka. India-Japan Memorandum of Cooperation on Specified Skilled Workers. IFSCA becomes member of IOSCO. Prime Minister inaugurates Maritime India Submit 2021 virtually. India-Japan back in another Sri Lanka port project. Cabinet approves opening of 3 Indian missions in Estonia, Paraguay and Dominican Republic. Indo-Korea discussion. India-Bangladesh signed 5 MOU, announced new train connecting Dhaka to New Jalpaiguri, Hope Consortium's World Immunization and Logistics Summit, and UNSC India discussion. So let's come to the first topic of discussion, that is United Nations Security Council and India. The discussion is India has said that UN Security Council is finding itself unable to act effectively to address increasingly complex issues of international peace and security, as it lacked inclusivity of those who need to be members of the powerful organ of the world body. India's permanent representative to UN Ambassador T.S. Tirumurthy said there is no process in UN that has traversed the tortuous pathways more than what the process of United Nations Security Council reform has. So it is completely into United Nations Security Council reforms. UPSC asked question related to United Nations Security Council and its reforms, especially in main examination. Once again, India has vehemently criticized United Nations Security Council because it is not moving with the reforms of UN Security Council. So India has said that United Nations Security Council is finding it's unable to act effectively to address increasingly complex issues of international peace and security, as it lacked inclusive of those who need to be members of the powerful organ of the world body. India, along with Brazil, Japan and Germany, are pressing for urgent reform of United Nations Security Council and for a permanent seat in the reformed 15-member top organ of the world body. The first IGN meeting on United Nations Security Council reform in the 75th session of the General Assembly took place, in which G4 nations Brazil, India, Japan and Germany asserted that only 2 things can save IGN as a format: negotiation of a single test with attributions, reflecting various positions taken by member states in the last 12 years, and the application of the rules of procedures of the General Assembly. So here G4 nations are in discussion: Brazil, India, Japan and Germany. And at the same time, what is G4, and at the same time what is the basic objective of G4, that is supposed to be very clear in your mind. So that's about United Nations Security Council, G4 nation. At the same time, India stand in connection with the reforms required in United Nations Security Council. So keep an eye on United Nations Security Council and all the major fundamentals related to United Nations Security Council, permanent and non-permanent membership inside, and from mains perspective, what is the constraint related to reform in United Nations Security Council. Next one is Hope Consortium's World Immunization and Logistics Summits. Sorry. Dr. Harshvardhan, Union Minister for Health and Family Welfare, digitally participated in a panel discussion on vaccine production and distribution across Asia and the World Immunization and Logistics Summit. The virtual conference brought together over 1,000 attendees from around the region and the world in active discussion around tackling key issues facing global supply chains, as the world faces the largest and most complex logistical operation in history in an effort to deliver life-saving vaccines worldwide. So that is about Hope Consortium's World Immunization and Logistics Summit. Dr. Harshvardhan, Union Minister for Health and Family Welfare, digitally participated in a panel discussion on vaccine production and distribution across Asia and the World Immunization and Logistics Summit. The panel was excited to know how India is scaling up production of COVID-19 vaccines and how the government was working with local and international partners to ensure the timely distribution of these vaccines. Dr. Ashwardhan showcased India's vaccine administration program, the development of two vaccines in our country, that is Covishield and Covaxin. So Covishield and Covaxin, that is into discussion, that is there in the limelight, and there should be clarity between what is Covishield and what is Covaxin. What is the fundamental difference between the Covishield and Covaxin? That should be there in the mind of every aspirant. Now, in detail in that discussion, they have addressed all the issues related to COVID-19, especially related to vaccination as such, and that was the discussion about. Now, the next thing, India, Bangladesh signed 5 MOU, announced new train connecting Dhaka to New Jalpaiguri. In last main examination, they asked question related to India-Bangladesh relationship. At the same time, in preliminary also, you can see clear question related to India-Bangladesh, India-Sri Lanka relationship, and nature and character of India-Bangladesh relationship was there in the preliminary examination as a statement. India and Bangladesh signed 5 MOU in the field of disaster management, trade, NCC, ICT, and setting up sports facilities on the concluding day of the second day long official visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Wrapping up the visit, the delegation level talks were held between Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi and Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina on Saturday. That was the discussion came. So India, Bangladesh signed 5 MOU, announced new train connecting Dhaka to New Jalpaiguri. That is a discussion. Both leaders discussed progress achieved in areas of health, trade connectivity, energy, that is trade, connectivity, energy, development cooperation, and many other areas. They discussed bilateral issues covering areas of commerce and trade, water resource, security and defense, power and energy, among others. So this was the basic discussion, and in detail you can see in the Press Information Bureau also in PIB the discussion between India and Bangladesh related to 5 MOUs, and at the same time new train connecting Dhaka to New Jalpaiguri. Now the next discussion is related to Indo and Korea, that is India and Korea. India's first Indo-Korean Friendship Park was jointly inaugurated by Mr. Soo Wook, Honorable Minister of National Defense, Republic of Korea, and Sri Rajnath Singh, Honorable Raksha Mantri at Delhi, Cantonment on 26 March 2021. So we are into February, March 2021 into 2021. We started from October 2020, October, September 2020. Right now we are in March 2021. And key features: located in Delhi Cantonment, the park's significance is not only because of it being a symbol of strong India-South Korea friendly relation, but also a monument to India's contribution as a part of 21 countries which participated in Korean War 1950-53 under the aegis of United Nations. So India's first Indo-Korean Friendship Park was jointly inaugurated by Mr. Soo Wook, Honorable Minister of National Defense, Republic of Korea, and Sri Rajnath Singh, Honorable Raksha Mantri at Delhi Cantonment on 26 March 2021. The park has been developed in joint consultation with Ministry of Defense, Government of India, Indian Army, Delhi Cantonment Mode, Embassy of Korea, and Korean War Veterans Association of India. So that is a basic fundamental. The park has been developed in joint consultation with the Ministry of Defense, Government of India, Indian Army, Delhi Cantonment Board, Embassy of Korea, and Korean War Veterans Association of India. Spread across a green area of 6 acres, the park includes an entrance gate, beautifully made in Korean style, signifying the graceful culture, a jogging track, a well-landscaped garden, and an amphitheater. The park has an imposing handshake artifact standing tall at the entrance, bearing flags of India and South Korea, which was unveiled by Mr. Soo Wook, Honorable Minister of National Defense, Republic of Korea, and Sri Rajnath Singh, Honorable Raksha Mantri. So this was the discussion. India's first Indo-Korean Friendship Park. Indo-Korean Friendship Park was jointly inaugurated by Mr. Soo Wook, Honorable Minister of National Defense, Republic of Korea, and Sri Rajnath Singh, Honorable Raksha Mantri at Delhi Cantonment on 26 March 2021. In detail, I gave the basics behind the nature and character of the park too. And next discussion is about Cabinet approves opening of 3 Indian mission in Estonia, Paraguay, and Dominican Republic. The Union Cabinet, chaired by Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, approved the opening of 3 Indian missions in Estonia, Paraguay, and Dominican Republic in 2021. Opening of Indian mission in these countries will help expand India's diplomatic footprint, deepen political relationship, enable growth of bilateral trade, investment, and economic engagement, facilitate stronger people-to-people contact, bolster political outreach in multilateral fora, and help garner support for India's foreign policy objectives. So Cabinet approves opening of 3 Indian missions in Estonia, Paraguay and Dominican Republic. The first point is there should be geographic understanding where this particular Estonia is located, where this Paraguay is located, where this Dominican Republic is located. Related to geography, there should be a clarity regarding the border countries and the location and the related geographic details of Estonia, Paraguay and Dominican Republic. At the same time, this current affair is very important because Union Cabinet chaired by our Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi approved the opening of 3 Indian missions in Estonia, Paraguay and Dominican Republic, and UPSC can ask a direct question: in which all countries India recently decided to have an Indian mission? Select the countries 1, 2, 3, 4 like that they can give. Indian mission in these countries will also better assist the Indian community and protect their interests. The objective of our foreign policy is to build a conducive environment for India's growth and development through partnerships with friendly countries. There are presently missions and posts across the world which serve as conduits of our relationship with partner countries. So the objective of our foreign policy is to build a conducive environment for India's growth and development through partnership with friendly countries. That's the discussion. The decision to open these 3 new Indian missions is a forward-looking step in pursuit of our national priority of growth and development, or Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. So that is the basic discussion about. Next is about India-Japan back in another Sri Lankan port project. So India-Japan back in another Sri Lankan port project means we should have a relationship with, we should have a clarity regarding the relationship between India, Japan and Sri Lanka. So Sri Lanka said it will develop the West Container Terminal at the Colombo port along with India and Japan. The decision comes after the Rajpaksa government ejected the 2 partners from a 2019 tripartite agreement to jointly develop the East Container Terminal, citing resistance to foreign involvement. Approval had been granted to develop the WCT with investor nominated by India and Japan. So the direct current affair is only this much. Sri Lanka said it will develop the West Container Terminal. It will develop the West Container Terminal at the Colombo port along with India and Japan. According to officially published cabinet decision, while the High Commission of India had approved the Adani port, which was to invest in ECT project earlier, Japan is yet to name as an investor. Neither India nor Japan has officially commented on the offer or on the said private investment from the countries. According to official sources in New Delhi, Colombo had been in talks directly with potential investor Adani Group while the government was not part of the discussion. But both India and Japan had earlier expressed displeasure about Colombo unilaterally pulling out the 2019 tripartite agreement signed by the former Maitripala Sirisena Ranil Wickremesinghe government. So here, India and Sri Lanka and Japan, that is India, Japan back in another Sri Lanka port project, that is the discussion. Sri Lanka said it will develop the West Container Terminal at the Colombo port along with India and Japan. So that's the current affair, and you should have an idea what is the relationship and what is the background behind India and Japan relationship. At the same time, India, Japan, Sri Lanka relationship, and what project in what manner I convey to you. So that's about West Container Terminal at the Colombo port along with India and Japan. Now, next discussion is about Prime Minister inaugurates Maritime India Submit 2021 virtually. So Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi inaugurates Maritime India Submit 2021 through video conferencing. Minister of Transport of Denmark, Mr. Benny Engelbrecht, Chief Minister of Gujarat and Andhra Pradesh, Union Minister Sri Dharmendra Pradhan and Union Minister of State Independent Charge for Port, Shipping and Waterways, Sri Mansukh Mandaviya were present on the occasion. So it is about Prime Minister inaugurates Maritime India Submit. So Maritime India Submit 2021, what is the objective of Maritime India Submit and what are the future possibilities, at the same time the basic fundamentals of Maritime India Summit 2021. And the key point, the Maritime India Summit is one of the biggest virtual summit in the world, with the participation of more than 1.7 lakh registered participants for more than 100 nations. So that is the significance of Maritime India Summit. Maritime India Summit is one of the biggest virtual summit in the world, with the participation of more than 1.7 lakh registered participants for more than 100 nations. In this 3-day summit, we will have ministers from 8 nations, more than 50 global CEOs and more than 160 speakers, which includes 115 international speakers from 24 nations. Sri Mandaviya further assured all stakeholders in the sectors and investors from across the globe and said that Government of India is all geared up for facilitating and grounding the investment in the maritime sector and our role in the vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat as such. So that is about the program, and that is about Maritime India Summit 2021, which as such happened virtually. Prime Minister released ebook of Maritime India Vision 2030. Maritime India Vision 2030 is aiming to make the Indian maritime industry at par with top global benchmark in next 10 years. Prime Minister also unveiled e-plague of Sagar Manthan, that is Mercantile Maritime Domain Awareness Center. So there is a discussion called the MMDAC. So that is MMDAC is Mercantile Maritime Domain Awareness Center. So Mercantile Maritime Domain Awareness Center, it's an information system for enhancing maritime security, maritime safety, search and rescue capabilities, security and marine environment protection. So that is about Mercantile Maritime Domain Awareness Center. Now the next one is IFSCA becomes member of IOSCO. Now what is IFSCA is International Financial Service Center Authority. So International Financial Service Center Authority has become member of International Organization of Securities Commission, that is IOSCO. So now two organizations as such is in limelight, that is International Financial Service Center Authority, that is IFSCA, and second one is IOSCO, that is International Organization of Security Commissions. So the International Financial Service Center Authority has become an associate member of the International Organization of Security Commission, that is IFSCA become member of IOSCO. The IOSCO is the international organization that brings together the world securities regulators, covering more than 95% of the world securities market, and is the global standard setter for the security sector. IOSCO works closely with the G20 and the Financial Stability Board in setting up the standard for strengthening the securities market. The IOSCO objectives and principles of security regulation have been endorsed by FSB as one of the key standards for sound financial system. The membership of IOSCO would provide IFSCA the platform to exchange information at the global level and regional level on areas of common interest. Further, IOSCO platform would enable IFSCA to learn the experience and best practice of the regulators of other well-established financial centers. So IOSCO work closely with G20 and the Financial Stability Board in setting up standards for strengthening the security market. So the basic GK is, it is basically to set up the standard for strengthening the security market. The IOSCO work closely with G20 and the Financial Stability Board, that is what called FSB, and this FSB in setting up the standard for strengthening the security board or securities market. So once again, IOSCO work closely with G20 and Financial Stability Board in setting up the standard for strengthening the security market. And IOSCO objective and principles of security regulation have been endorsed by the FSB, that is by the Financial Stability Board, as one of the key standard for sound financial system. So here in our discussion, three topic as it is coming. What is IOSCO? What is FSB, that is Financial Stability Board, and what is IFSCA? I told what is IOSCO and what is IFSCA and what is FSB. The membership of IOSCO would provide IFSCA the platform to exchange information at the global level and the regional level on areas of common interest. Further, IOSCO platform would enable IFSCA to learn from the experiences and best practices of the regulators of other well-established financial centers. Next topic of discussion is India-Japan Memorandum of Cooperation on Specified Skilled Workers. Sri Harshvardhan Shringla, Foreign Secretary, and His Excellency Mr. Suzuki Santoshi, Ambassador of Japan to India, signed a memorandum of cooperation between Government of India and Government of Japan on basic framework for partnership for proper operation of the system pertaining to specified skilled workers on 18 January 2021. So our Minister Sri Harshvardhan, Foreign Secretary, and His Excellency Mr. Suzuki Santoshi, Ambassador of Japan, signed a memorandum of understanding or memorandum of cooperation between Government of India and Government of Japan on basic framework for partnership for proper operation of system pertaining to specified skilled workers. From UPSC point of view, the point is, what is basic framework for partnership for proper operation of the system pertaining to specified skilled workers? What is SSW? What is specified skilled workers? What is basic framework for partnership for proper operation of the system pertaining to SSW or system pertaining to specified skilled workers. The MOU will help to promote movement of skilled workers from India to Japan. The MOC covers 14 categories of specified skill under which skilled workers from India who meet the skill requirement and Japanese language test would be eligible for employment in Japan on a contractual basis. The 14 specified industry field include nursing care, building cleaning, material processing, industrial machinery manufacturing, electric and electronic information, construction, shipbuilding and ship-related industry, automobile maintenance, aviation, lodging, agriculture, fisheries, food and beverages manufacturing and food service industry. So these are the 14 specified industry field includes. Now, India-Japan Memorandum of Cooperation on Specified Skilled Workers, and Japan would grant these workers the status of specified skilled workers. So that's the point. The Japan would grant these workers the status of specified skilled workers. It is also expected that Indian skilled workers who go to Japan under this MOC will acquire new skills while working in Japan. A joint working group comprising officials from both countries will be constituted in the near future to work out operational details and smooth implementation of this program. Next and the last topic is India abstains in UN Human Rights Council vote on Sri Lanka. So India abstained in UN Human Rights Council vote on Sri Lanka. India abstained from a crucial vote on Sri Lanka's right record at the United Nations Human Rights Council in Geneva. The resolution on promoting reconciliation, accountability and human rights in Sri Lanka was, however, adopted after 22 states of the 47-member council voted in favor. Sri Lanka, which had earlier deemed the resolution politically motivated, was quick to reject the UN move to collect and preserve evidence of war crimes in the country committed by the armed forces and LTTE. The statement made clear Sri Lanka's resistance to the process envisaged in the resolution to prosecute war criminals through an international evidence gathering and investigation mechanism. The money allocated and estimated at $2.8 million for the effort would find better use towards providing housing for the war-affected people. The minister said even as scores of Tamil continue seeking their lands, new homes and jobs from his government. Ahead of the vote, both the government of Sri Lanka and the Tamil National Alliance, which sought the exact opposite outcomes on the resolution, had expressed hopes of obtaining India's support. So that is the discussion. Now, India abstains in UN Human Rights Council vote on Sri Lanka. India abstained from a crucial vote on Sri Lanka's right record at the United Nations Human Rights Council in Geneva. That's the discussion. Both sides appeared sympathetic to India's abstention that effectively amounts to support for neither party. However, in an indication that Sri Lanka had constructed abstentions as support, Mr. Gunawardena in a tweet thanked the 14 countries including India, Japan and Nepal that abstained from voting. On the other hand, welcoming the Council adoption of the resolution, the TNA said India must have decided to abstain after careful consideration of various factors. The Sri Lanka resolution was the first to be voted on using the extraordinary e-voting procedures established for the UNHRC 46 section, which has been held virtually. So that's a discussion in connection with India, Sri Lanka, United Nations and India, Sri Lanka, United Nations Human Rights Council, and India abstains in UN Human Rights Council vote on Sri Lanka. That was the discussion about. The resolution was on promoting reconciliation, accountability and human rights in Sri Lanka, was however adopted after 22 states of the 47-member council voted in favor. So that's the discussion. And here, what is the relationship between India and Sri Lanka in connection with this particular discussion? There should be a fundamental clarity, and from UPSC mains point of view, they can ask the relationship. At the same time, in prelims point of view, Human Rights Council, United Nations Human Rights Council, UPSC can ask a question right from the fundamentals of United Nations Human Rights Council, and at the same time the current affairs related to United Nations Human Rights Council, they can ask statement related questions. So that's all about international relations in this video. In the next video we will be discussing, or I'll be conveying another 10 topics in connection with international relations. Have a great time and meet you in the next video. Keep an extra eye on international relations. At the same time, national issues video also you have to watch and understand as according to the requirement of UPSC Preliminary and Main Examination. Have a great time. Calm version is the most productive version. Be calm and go through all the videos and get an edge in your overall preparation. Meet you in the next video. Have a great time. Thank you.